The first punch sent Sarge Malone crumpling faster than any of us could have imagined. 1 second, the 73-year-old veteran stood tall. The next, he sprawled across the blood-streaked barroom floor, lips split open. "That's how you shut up dinosaurs," the tattooed biker sneered. His leather jacket strained tight, a garish Confederate flag patch gleaming. Sarge, survivor of Korea with 2 Purple Hearts, now crawled beneath a thug's boot. Doc Carver, our storyteller, hands trembling from Parkinson's, sent a desperate text to the VFW. SOS, cavalry in 20. But 20 minutes in a brawl is a lifetime. Can old soldiers hold out against a savage gang? This story will chill you with unbreakable courage and timeless brotherhood. Where are you watching from? If you love tales of unity and triumph, hit like and subscribe to catch the next shocking twist, a secret from the past that could shake the VFW to its core. Pale neon light spills across the worn wooden table. 5 men sit around it in familiar silence. The VFW bar on Atlanta's outskirts is nothing special. Scuffed tile floors, walls lined with old photos, outdated blues tunes always humming in the air. But for Doc Carver, Sarge Malone, Hawk Sullivan, Ghost Ramsey, and Tanker Walsh, this place is their final sanctuary, not from the outside world, but from their own memories. They were once a larger group, young men who marched into a strange land called Vietnam, returning one by one, or not at all. Now, every Thursday at 7 p.m., they show up like old machines, not yet rusted. Cheap beer, familiar corner seats, stories that never end, though retold dozens of times. Sarge grumbles about a new prescription that leaves him nauseous all day. Hawk shows off a photo of his 4th great-grandchild, just born. Ghost, face gaunt, eyes sunken, sips his beer as if each drop holds both memory and torment. Doc listens, nodding occasionally. His hand rests near his wooden cane. Tanker's absent, 3rd week in a row, stuck in a nursing home with prison-like visitation rules, and none of them know when they'll see him next. Younger vets from Iraq and Afghanistan dot the bar. They sit apart. Maybe generational divide. Maybe the sense that these old soldiers are untouchable stone statues. Whatever the reason, Thursdays belong to the elders. No one intrudes. No one asks questions. Tonight starts like any other. At 8 p.m., the bar door swings open. 6 men stride in, carrying a strange wind. Heavy black leather jackets, skulls and scythes embroidered on the back, the mark of the Iron Reaper MC, a biker gang known more for brawls than community service. They enter like they're scouting new territory. Each step clacks on the tiles, defiant. No one stops them. There's no reason, yet. They order beers, claim the long central table. Their laughter grows louder by the minute. To others, they're just rowdy patrons stirring a dull evening. But for Doc and his crew, the air shifts. They don't say it. They all feel something's off. Hawk glances at Ghost, who sits frozen. His eyes peer over Sarge's shoulder. Then Razor Kane, the gang's leader, spots Sarge's faded cap. A simple hat, no flashy decor, just Vietnam veteran, stitched in worn gold thread. Razor smirks, sauntering over deliberately slow, beer cans still frothy in his hand. His crew falls silent. Their eyes shift to him. "Hey, old man," Razor says, loud enough for all to hear. "That cap says Vietnam. Kill any kids or just scrub toilets?" A dead pause ripples through the bar. The music cuts mid-note, as if unplugged. Doc's hand tightens slightly on his glass. Hawk sets his grandkid's photo down, wordless. Ghost closes his eyes for a moment. Sarge, back to Razor, doesn't react immediately. He turns his head slowly, the motion deliberate, like he's keeping something from breaking. His face shows no anger, no fear, just the deep, familiar weariness of those who've crossed the line between life and death. So often nothing surprises them anymore. His eyes hold no spark of defiance, only something heavier. Experience. Son, Sarge says, voice hoarse and low. Drink your beer. Leave the past alone. True warriors don't brag. They know war's cost, not in words, but in sleepless nights, sudden noises that startle, faces that never came home. And they know some things, no matter how others try to insult or trample, can't be taken, because they're carved in blood and gun smoke. Silence stretches after Sarge's words, but Razor isn't done. And everyone in that little bar knows, an ordinary night is about to become something else entirely. Doc feels his fingers tremble as he sends the text. But for the first time in years, he doesn't feel powerless. Hands that once saved wounded soldiers under fire in Pleiku still have strength to type 2 words heavy with history. SOS VFW. Under the table, his phone glows. A reply comes from a group of veterans still in touch. Brothers who swore if one falls, the others return. 4 words. Cavalry coming. Hold fast. At the table, Razor doesn't back off. He just floored a frail old man. Now he looms, waiting for the rest to rise, itching for a reason to swing again. Hawk carefully picks up his grandson's photo, soaked on the table. He wipes it dry with his sleeve. Not a word, not a wasted motion. Ghost sits like stone, his eyes locked on the iron reapers circling them. Sarge lies on the floor, eyes closed, hand clutching his bleeding jaw, but he doesn't groan. A thick silence blankets the room. The young vets in the corner, from Iraq, Kandahar, survivors of bombs and ambushes, sit frozen. They've seen violence, but never this quiet cruelty of a hulking man punching an elder who served his country. Marcus, the bartender, pulls out his phone again, dialing, but he knows the police won't arrive in time. Doc straightens his back, hands on the table. His eyes no longer carry their usual fatigue. Hawk glances over, no words needed. They understand. 50 years ago, in a nameless jungle village, amid sounds no one wants to hear again. They had only each other. And now, it's the same. Ghost lifts his beer, takes a small sip, then slowly stands. His left hand, mangled from a wound in Quang Tri, hangs deformed, but his right remains steady as the day he dropped a sniper across a hill. He looks at Razor, not challenging, not afraid, just the gaze of a man with nothing left to prove, carved into him through long nights and shredding dreams. We don't want trouble, Doc says slowly, eyes scanning each iron reaper creeping closer. But if you push this further, know this. This isn't a table of old men. This is a trench. One reaper laughs, but the sound dies fast, because right then the bar door flies open. A metallic scrape echoes from the parking lot, steel striking ground. 4 men step in, no uniforms or weapons needed, just their stance shifts the air. Worn jackets with hand-stitched unit patches, steps firm as iron stakes. One, Red Turner, who lost his left leg in Hugh, drives his steel cane into the floor 3 times. Doc checks his watch. 19 minutes, 32 seconds. The cavalry arrived early. Razor raises an eyebrow but doesn't move forward. He senses something unfamiliar. These aren't men you scare with size or muscle. They've buried friends with bare hands, kept oaths in hell, and they'll do it again if needed. Red speaks, voice low but resounding. Who touched Malone? Like silent thunder. No one answers. Razor glances around, searching for an out, but his feet stay rooted. One of Red's men steps forward, picks up Sarge's glasses, wipes off the dust, and hands them back. Sarge takes them, silent, slipping them on as if readying for an ordinary day. He stands. Blood still stains his collar. "Give or keep, Sarge?" Doc asks quietly, like an old ritual. Sarge looks at Razor. His eyes hold no anger, only the bitter disappointment of one who's seen humanity lost on battlefields. "Give," he says, "but if he comes back..." Ghost nods slowly, like flicking the safety on an imaginary M14. Marcus, the bartender, finally speaks. "This bar has rules. No one harasses veterans. They're why this place exists." A young soldier in the corner rises, stepping toward Doc's group. Then another follows. The air shifts. A silent wave of recognition. Razor knows he's lost. Not to numbers, not to weapons, but to something he can't grasp. The blood, memories, and honor these men share. He steps back once, then again. "What the hell is this place?" he hisses, turning to leave. His crew scrambles out behind him, gone as if they'd never been. When the door shuts, no one cheers. There's no victory, only silence, the kind survivors carry for life. Sarge sits back down, hands on the table. Hawk hands him an ice pack. Doc exhales, hands still trembling, but a faint smile crosses his lips. "Next time, we drink something stronger," Ghost murmurs, eyes still fixed on the door. In the distance, engines rumble, a group ready to die for each other, just shared another night alive together. No one mentions what happened. They just raise their glasses, clinking softly in the way old warriors do, knowing sometimes surviving and holding on to dignity is the only victory worth claiming. Doc kneels beside Sarge, pressing a cloth to the gash on his lip. His eyes stay locked on Razor, though his hands tremble with Parkinson's. But his voice remains steady, not loud, not wavering, carrying the authority of a man who saved lives amid shellfire and collapsing earth. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life," he says slowly. Ghost, the quietest of the group, whose hands pulled triggers in Quang Tri, the Laotian jungle, and lightless rainy nights in Quezon, rarely speaks. "You don't know what's coming," he says, his voice low, like earth sinking under tank treads. Razor smirks, stepping back once, his eyes still defiant. "Heart attack? Call an ambulance, geezers." He waves a hand, voice dragging, but deep in his gaze, something begins to crack. Hawk sets his grandson's photo aside, wiping it dry with the tablecloth's edge, then looks up, his eyes calm. "My grandson just finished ranger school at Fort Benning," he says, "stationed 20 miles from here, with 50 brothers. Doc doesn't turn, but adds, as if scripted, "And Ghost's granddaughter, still flying Apaches. Promoted to captain last year," Ghost replies, a faint smile breaking. "Very protective of her grandpa." Razor's brow furrows, his voice loses its edge. "What the hell are you old coots talking about?" Doc glances at his watch, saying simply, reminiscing. Then his eyes sharpen on Razor. Veterans aren't alone. As if on cue, the bar door swings open. Steady footsteps echo like the next generation's pulse. 5 young soldiers enter, 3 men, 2 women, uniforms crisp, aligned, eyes resolute. Leading them is Cole, tall, skin a burnished bronze, Ranger insignia pinned to his shoulder. One glance sizes up the scene. "Grandpa, you good?" Cole asks, his voice low but weighted. "Here, Cole," Hawk replies, raising a hand. "Little trouble." Cole needs no more explanation. The team moves straight to the veterans' table. No guns, no helmets. But as they advance, the room holds its breath. Each carries the aura of discipline, of power forged in training camps and real battlefields. "This guy?" Cole asks, standing square before Razor, eyes never leaving him. "Hit Sarge, trashed Hawk's family photo," Doc replies, voice even, like briefing a medical board. The air thickens. Razor juts his chin, still holding his stance. "Bar fight's none of your business," he growls, but his chest heaves faster than usual. Cole doesn't step back, doesn't argue. He just speaks slowly. "Sarge saved my grandpa twice on the Mekong River. Doc's the only friend of my great-uncle still alive. Ghost taught me to shoot my first gun when I was 8. Each word is carved from stone. Firm. Cold. This bar is their place, so if you touch them, it's my business." The other 4, 2 men, 2 women, step forward, forming a line. Not a word spoken, just standing there, an invisible steel wall between Razor and the insulted past. No one draws a weapon, none needed. Here, honor is the weapon. Their presence says it all. Those who fought for their country won't be disgraced, not in silence. The air in the bar hangs heavy as stone. Younger veterans, scattered in corners, from Afghanistan, Fallujah, rise one by one. Some step closer, others place hands over hearts. No chants, no slogans, just the actions of those who understand. Their history is being trampled, and they won't let it continue. Marcus, the bartender, finally speaks. His voice trembles slightly but rings clear. "If that guy's not gone in 1 minute, I'm hitting the emergency alarm. And this time, I'm not waiting for local cops. I'm calling the nearest base." Razor turns, eyes scanning the room. No escape remains. He tries to hold his stance, but his feet edge back. He glances at Cole, then at each face. Old men with eyes steady as steel, young soldiers ready to defend them like family. No one raises a fist. No one needs to. Razor swallows hard, spins, and strides out of the bar, faster than he'd like. The door slams shut behind him. No one sees him off. No one waves. He vanishes like a hailstorm that never reaches harvest. Cole turns to the veterans, nodding slightly. "I'm ready any time," he says, "if they come back." "You got here in time," Hawk replies, clapping his shoulder. Ghost, standing aside, sets his beer down, eyes fixed on the door. "They won't return," he whispers. "They saw what they can't comprehend. Brotherhood that doesn't die with time." Doc helps Sarge to his feet, wiping dried blood from his lip. "Next time, don't catch a punch with your face," he grumbles. Sarge grins, mouth still bruised purple. "That punk trashed my great-grandkid's photo. Deserved to be scratched off the decent list." The bar settles back to quiet, as if nothing happened. But from now on, every Thursday, that corner table isn't just for 5 old veterans. It's a symbol, A reminder that some generations never let their elders stand alone. And in a small town, in a weathered bar, loyalty proves. Honor has no age. No one speaks. No need to. The bar's packed tight. Not with noise, not with chaos. Just the steady thud of military boots on the wooden floor, each step like a war drum. Soldiers arrive in waves, 10, then 20, then 30, a silent tide. They carry no guns, but every pair of eyes, every stance declares they're not here to watch. They're here to draw a line. Captain Viper Hayes steps into the formation's center. The petite woman doesn't shout, doesn't point. Her gaze alone shifts the unit into a crescent around the corner table, where Doc, Ghost, Hawk, and Sarge sit. Her hair's pulled tight behind her neck, her uniform pressed sharp, her posture carved from stone. She needs no introduction. No one asks her name. Everyone knows she's Ghost's granddaughter, Apache pilot, Captain Hayes, call sign Viper. Got a message? Trouble, she says, eyes locked on Razor. No need to say who sent it. All understand. Viper's here not on rumors, but a family call. Razor edges back half a step, voice strained. What the hell's going on? Sarge, lips still bleeding, flashes a faint smile. We called family, he rasps. Viper kneels to check Ghost first. You okay, Grandpa? Ghost nods, patting her hand like when he walked her to school. Good, Viper, he says softly. She nods, turning to Sarge. Need medical, sir? Sarge purses his lips, wiping blood with his sleeve. Nah. Shaving this morning was worse. He chuckles dryly. Cole and the other soldiers form a line behind them. No weapons, no armor. Just standing there, silent but solid as concrete, an invisible buffer between the old guard and the present threat. Razor glances around, swallowing hard. His 6 men face 30 trained soldiers, each here for one reason: to protect those who held this country together. The air's no longer a bars, it's a declaration. Razor blinks, trying to hold his bravado, but his breathing quickens, sweat beads on his brow. Don't want trouble with the military, he mutters, almost to himself. Cole doesn't back down. He steps forward half a pace, eyes hard as flint. Should have thought of that before hitting a veteran, he says. Sarge carries 2 Purple Hearts, wounded for this country twice. Hawk survived K-Sun, under artillery rain. Ghost, sniper through 3 campaigns, saved more men than you've ever met. Doc? He kept guys like us alive while you were learning to tie your shoes. Viper cuts in, voice sharp as a thin blade. You saw old soldiers, thought they were weak, but you don't get it. They're the foundation. They're why you can sit in this bar, running your mouth. Razor turns to his crew. One young guy, face drained of color, tugs his sleeve lightly, pleading. Let's go. Not worth it, he whispers. Razor stands frozen, weighing his options. His lingering pride refuses to admit defeat, but his survival instinct whispers otherwise. The people in the room, from weathered veterans to young soldiers, aren't like any gang he's faced. They don't need to threaten. Their presence is enough. Finally, Razor dips his head toward Sarge. His voice lowers, stripped of arrogance. Sorry. For your lip. And the photo. No one acknowledges his apology, not because they didn't hear, but because Razor's words can't erase what he did. Yet they let him go. Veterans don't retaliate like the weak. They let history and honor speak. He backs away, his group trailing out of the bar. No one stops them. When the door slams shut, there's no clapping, no cheers, just silence settling back, like dust swept from old tiles. Viper turns to Ghost, checking him one last time. Hawk carefully folds his grandson's photo, tucking it into his wallet. Sarge grabs an ice pack from the bar, pressing it to his cheek as if it's just a minor bump in a normal day. Cole moves around, clapping shoulders. "We always have each other's backs," he says quietly, loud enough for the veterans to hear. "Always." Doc takes a final sip of beer, eyes on his worn-out watch. "Next Thursday, 7 p.m. sharp," he says. Ghost nods. "I'll bring the old deck." The bar returns to normal. No scars too obvious. But everyone knows something's shifted. Not the rules, but recognition. From one generation to the next, a silent message passes. No one gets left behind. That night, Viper leaves late. She glances back one last time before stepping out. Her eyes linger on the corner table. Ghost sits there, tilting his head, raising 2 fingers in a sniper's salute. She nods back, then vanishes into the night. And in Atlanta, in a quiet bar, those who once lost everything reclaim something they thought had faded. Respect, not for medals pinned to chests, but for the unseen scars they carry. Silence blankets the room again as Colonel Iron Maddox strides in, his walk steady as steel, despite a decade in retirement. Every move radiates a soldier's presence. In his hand, an old scratched phone. Its screen glows with a video, Razor's fist striking Sarge, blood from the old soldier's lip soaking the floor. He raises the phone high, enough for Razor and his crew to see clearly. "I've got footage of you assaulting Sarge." His voice doesn't rise, but each word lands like a sledgehammer. "Normally, I'd call the cops, but tonight isn't about the law. It's about family." Razor swallows hard. His uneasy eyes dart to Viper, standing by Ghost like a silent guardian. Maddox turns to her. "How do you want to handle this, Captain?" Viper doesn't rush to answer. She scans the room, sees Doc's trembling hand gripping his beer, Sarge's collar stained with fresh blood, young faces beside those who walked through fire. She nods, then speaks slowly. "I choose education over prosecution." The bar falls deathly still. Viper continues. "They'll apologize to Sarge, cover all medical costs, replace the damaged photo. And tomorrow they'll volunteer at the local VA hospital, clean rooms, serve food, wash wheelchairs, face the people they disrespected." Maddox nods. "Or," he says, "this video hits the sheriff's desk by morning. Assaulting an elder in a bar on camera. No lawyers saving you from prison." Razor, face pale, glances at Cole, still looming behind like a wall of resolve. He nods slowly, words grinding through clenched teeth. "Fine, we'll do it your way." No one claps, no one cheers, but the air feels lighter, as if a dark shadow's been pushed beyond the bar's door. Razor and his group slip out quietly. No glances back, no words. They don't need chasing. Their pride already drove them away. When the door shuts behind them, something unspoken spreads through the bar. It's no longer just another Thursday of old vets swapping stories. It's a reunion, unexpected, profound. Cole pulls a chair beside Hawk, still in full uniform. He leans in, extending a hand. "I'll reprint that photo for you, sir. It'll be better than the old one." Hawk nods, eyes fixed on the still damp picture. "Thanks, Cole, but make it waterproof this time." Viper pulls a portable blood pressure monitor from her jacket, kneeling beside Ghost. "Let me check you, Grandpa." She wraps the cuff around his arm. Numbers flash clearly, 135 over 82. 135 over... Ghost raises an eyebrow. Not bad. She smiles, setting the device down. Not bad at all, especially after that mess. The scene transforms into an inspiring exchange. Young soldiers crowd shoulder to shoulder with veterans. No generational divide remains, just respect. A Marine fresh from Afghanistan asks Sarge about Khe-Sanh. He speaks, voice steady, slow, unembellished. Each detail silences the table. Those who've never smelled Vietnam's red earth now listen as if crouching in bunkers, artillery roaring overhead. 3 lieutenants pull chairs to Ghost's table, pens scribbling, eyes wide as he recounts dropping a target in the Laotian jungle, aiming from an impossible distance. How a 1mm error could have cost a comrade's life. No classroom tactic matches what they're hearing. Docs surrounded by a young medic sergeant and enlisted medical students. They ask about old-school field medicine. No modern gear, no freeze-dried plasma. Just a scalpel, some gauze, and steady hands. He recalls a jungle surgery. No lights. Only the wounded's breaths and distant chopper hum. No one blinks. Maddox, Colonel Maddox, leans back, sips his beer, then makes a proposal. I want to invite you all to the local high school. Talk to kids about sacrifice, loyalty, things history books never touch. Kids today think history started on 9/11. The table falls quiet for a moment. Sarge leans back, eyes pensive. Hawk rests a hand on Ghost's shoulder. Doc glances at the worn wedding band on his finger, then nods first. I'm in. Ghost shrugs. Long as I don't have to dance, I'm in. Sarge, wiping his still swollen lip, murmurs, If there's coffee, I'm good. Hawk simply nods, the nod of a man who's seen enough to know small acts can spark big change. And so, in a small bar on the city's edge, once just a refuge for old men escaping loneliness, a new generation meets an old one, not through gunfire, but through stories, memories, and respect. They need no stage, no live stream, no cameras, just one evening, people willing to listen, and those once forgotten, suddenly remembered. Sarge raises his glass, his hand, still crusted with dried blood, trembles slightly but holds firm. 2 absent friends, he says, his voice low, breaking through the murmurs. No one reacts loudly, only the soft clink of glasses touching. Hawk bows his head, sighing. Ghost stays silent, eyes fixed on an invisible point in the bar's corner. No explanation needed. They all know the name Sarge means. Tanker, their old comrade, now lies in a nursing home bed in the next state, each breath shorter than the last. We should visit him, Hawk says softly, not a suggestion, but an unspoken vow. Doc nods. Viper, seeing off her young comrades, turns back. She steps to Ghost, planting a gentle kiss on his cheek. I'll bring your supplements tomorrow, Grandpa. No more salty snacks. Cole stands by the door, keys in hand, signaling he's ready to drive the veterans home. It's a new tradition. After each gathering, he chauffeurs them, one by one, an unpaid but willing driver. Razor's crew should be grateful you called us before things spiraled, Cole says with a faint smile. Ghost replies, his usual dry tone intact. Age doesn't just slow you down, it means you've got less to lose, and more experience hiding bodies. Laughter erupts, releasing the tension of hours past. The bartender, a Gulf War vet, waves. Next week, fellas. Don't leave me stuck with college kids and their PowerPoint war stories. Outside, Autumn air drapes like a cold blanket. Cole carefully helps Sarge into the SUV. Hawk and Ghost walk steadily, gripping the vehicle's handrails. Doc pauses, his gaze lingering on each man, as if etching this moment into his mind. Cole turns as he shuts the door. Razor's group's set for the VA hospital tomorrow morning. They're registered to volunteer. I think it's education, not punishment. Sarge, settled in his seat, chuckles. I just pity the wounded vets dealing with them. Hope those punks know how to mop a floor. On the drive home, little is said. Inside the old SUV, only the hum of tires on wet pavement and Doc's occasional coughs punctuate the quiet. But in his mind, thoughts churn. He reflects on connection, not just wartime friendship, but the invisible thread binding souls who stood together in foreign lands. Something deeper marked this evening, as if the past didn't just resurface in memory, but stepped into reality to test if they still held their dignity. Doc thinks of Tanker, the comrade who never missed a VFW meeting until illness felled him. He recalls Tanker weeping after reading a letter from his grandson, a thank you for keeping his name among worthy fathers. Doc's chest tightens. There won't be many chances left to say goodbye. As the SUV stops at Ghost's house, Cole glances back. You coming next week? Ghost doesn't answer right away. Then he nods faintly. Long as my heart's still ticking. Cole grins, tapping the seat. See you at the VA tomorrow, then. Doc and Hawk are dropped off last. Cole helps Doc with the door, steadying him. I can swing by to take you to see Tanker if you need. Doc gives a faint smile, eyes softening. Do that, and Tanker might see there's still hope. After Cole drives off, Hawk and Doc walk slowly into the small house in the quiet neighborhood. No words, just steady steps. They know, time's running short, but every day they meet, laugh, honor the fallen. It's part of an unseen fight, the battle against being forgotten. Meanwhile, Night cloaks a nursing home room. Tanker lies still, only his eyes flickering faintly. On the bedside table sits an old, peeling leather notebook, pages thick with handwritten wartime notes. A young nurse enters, setting down a tray of meds. She notices the open notebook, a scrawled entry. Iron Reaper, secret not to be leaked. Razor worked with them in Laos, 1972. Evidence exists. She closes it, understanding nothing, gently pats his hand, and leaves. But the notebook doesn't stay silent. It lies there, an unexploded bomb, a warning that the next wave could dwarf tonight's storm. In Doc's fitful sleep, Tanker's image surfaces. His eyes seem to speak. A warning? A final wish? Or a missing piece of battlefield memory? A truth still waiting to be unearthed? Next week, they'll gather again. But Doc knows, this time, it might not just be a rude gang in a bar. It could be true ghosts from old wars, cloaked as the living, returning to settle an unresolved debt. And the fight for those thought long retired may only be beginning. Hey, patriots across America, from Kansas wheat fields to New York's bustling streets. The story of Sarge Malone and the unbreakable brotherhood at the VFW is just getting started. Will the Iron Reapers return for revenge? What secret from Tanker Walsh's past could shake everything? Join us to honor courage and unity. Hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell to catch the next thrilling chapter. A journey packed with drama awaits.